Welcome students. We are going to start the series of histamine and antihistamines consisting of 3 parts. This is part 1 of the series. So let's start. We will discuss firstly the general overview of histamine. Histamine, serotonin, and prostaglandin belong to a group of endogenous compound called autocoids. So let's discuss what is prostaglandin. Prostaglandin is a group of lipids made at site of tissue damage, and they do control inflammation, blood flow, blood clot, and labor induction. Also, do you know? What are autocoids? Autocoids actually comes from a Greek word autos. It means self, and akos means medicinal agent or remedy. These heterogeneous substances have different structures and pharmacological activities. They are called local hormones because they all have the common feature of being formed by tissue on which they act. They differ from endocrine glands in a way that autocoids are produced by many tissues rather than in specific endocrine glands. Now let's discuss, what is histamine? It is a chemical messenger mostly generated in mast cells. Histamine, along with multi-receptor systems, mediates cellular responses like allergic and inflammatory reactions, gastric acid secretions, neurotransmission in brain. Histamine has no clinical therapeutic effect, but antihistamine, or you can say histamine receptor blockers, have important therapeutic applications. Of histamine. Histamine is present in all tissues, but significantly in lungs, skin, blood vessels, GI tract. But in mast cells and basophils it is present in high concentration. As you all know that histamine is an amine, and histidine, when undergoes decarboxylation and in the presence of histidine decarboxylase, it converts into histamine, and you know well histidine is an amino acid. Histidine decarboxylase enzyme is found in cells of neuron, gastric parietal cells, mast cells, and basophils. There is a very important note that in mast cells, histamine is stored in granules. If it is not stored, then it is inactivated by amine oxidase enzyme rapidly. So, let's discuss about the release of histamine. Histamine chemical mediators release in response to certain stimuli. The stimuli include destruction of cells as a result of cold, toxins from microorganisms, or you can say toxins from organisms, venoms from insects and spiders, or trauma or allergies or anaphylaxis. So, what is the mechanism of action of histamine? Histamine produces effects by binding to histamine receptors like H1, H2, H3, and H4. Remember students, clinically useful drugs usually act on H1 and H2 receptors. H1 receptors are important in producing smooth muscle contraction, and also it increases capillary permeability. Histamine promotes vasodilation of small blood vessels by causing the vascular endothelium to release nitric oxide. Histamine also enhances the secretion of pro-inflammatory cytokines in cell and local tissues. Do you know? What are pro-inflammatory cytokines? Actually, it regulates growth, cell activation, differentiation, and homing of the immune cells to the site of infection. H1 receptors on which histamine acts mediate many pathological processes like allergic rhinitis, atopic dermatitis, conjunctivitis, urticarial, bronchoconstriction, asthma, and anaphylaxis. So, what is allergic rhinitis? A condition where your nose gets irritated by something you are allergic to, such as pollen, which causing sneezing. What is atopic dermatitis? It is a condition that makes your skin red and itchy. And what is conjunctivitis? It is an infection or inflammation of transparent membrane conjunctiva that lines your eyelid and covers the white part of eyeball. What is urticaria? It is a raised itchy rash that appears on skin. So now, we will discuss the action of histamine on different receptors like H1, H2. So what is the function of histamine when acts on H1 receptors? The first one is exocrine excretion. It increases nasal and bronchial mucus production, results respiratory symptoms. The second one is on bronchial smooth muscle. Here, it constricts bronchioles, results asthma and decreased lung capacity. The third one is on intestinal smooth muscle. Here, it do constriction, results intestinal cramps and diarrhea. The other one is on sensory nerve endings. Here, it causes itching and pain. Now, what is the function of histamine when acts on H1 and H2 receptors? The first one is on cardiovascular system. Here, it lowers systemic blood pressure by decreasing peripheral resistance, and it causes positive ionotropism. The other one is on skin. When acts on skin, the skin dilates capillaries. The skin increases permeability of capillaries, results in leakage of protein and fluid into the tissues and in skin. It also shows triple response. Do you know? What is a triple response? The responses are wheal formation, reddening due to local vasodilation, flare skin. So, what will be the function of histamine when acts on H2 receptors? The first one is on cardiovascular system. In this, it causes positive chronotropism. When acts on stomach. Here, it stimulates HCl secretion. Thank you, students. I hope you understand the concepts I delivered. If you have any query, then ask me in the comments section. Students, appreciate my work by subscribing to my channel and don't forget to like and share this video.